face, please don't run away. I can tell there's something on your brain. To my face, please don't run away. I can tell there's something on your
Live?
We are live.
Rob, how are you doing today?
I'm not so bad. How about yourself?
I'm great.
New surroundings.
Thanks. Yeah. I mean, I'm on look. Oh, of course. As soon as we start, the dogs
obviously kicking off. Mine's scratching at the door. Yeah, it's dogs everywhere.
Literally, they were so quiet. And something has to happen. Anyway, hopefully it's not too bad. Can you hear them badly? This mic's supposed to cut all of that out.
It's not too bad. It's not too bad.
Oh, okay.
It's minor background woofing.
Well, thanks to everybody for tuning in. I'm Joshua Casper, Plugin Boutique, Loopmasters Loopcloud, and we're joined by Rob Jones today, producer tech extraordinaire. And today we're going to be talking about Loopcloud, specifically the newest additions to Loopcloud Drum and Loopcloud Play. You've had a good chance or opportunity rather to check out both of these plugins, right, Rob?
I have, yeah. I've been using Drum for a few weeks now. Play only the latest version for a week or so, but Drum I've been using to do some tutorials as well.
Oh, that's right. I think you told me you've got a course coming up about something that includes drum.
That's right. Yeah, it's like a complete beginner's guide to making beats. So for absolute beginners, giving them an overview of the different sort of main ways of making beats, and drum features in there as sort of a cool way of making instant beats and loading up the patterns along with the kits and everything. So yeah,
it really is a great way to make beats and make really great sounding beats in a matter of a few clicks. Especially with a lot of the new features that are built in there. And people can actually take advantage of the Black Friday deal, which we're going to get into details about midway through the stream. But I believe Producer Tech, it's like an all access, 2 months of all access to Producer Tech. So anyone who takes advantage right now will actually be able to take full advantage of that course you were just talking about, correct?
That's right. Yeah, 2 months. So after the free trial, so it's actually 2.5 months in total. So
oh, wow.
Long time to check out courses. Yeah.
well, thank you for that. Thank you for hooking everybody up. So
Pleasure.
Definitely be clicking the links that my friend Andre will put in the chat throughout the stream if you want to check out that Black Friday deal right now. We are going to talk about that in a little bit. But before we jump in, do you have any kind of standout new features to drum? Because, I mean, for me, it's got to be the kit generator in combination with the new export features.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say, for me personally, it's the output routing, because that is the thing that really, of course, like the exporting's great, but the ability to actually route the sounds out means sort of, you've got instant control of them in the DAW. So that takes it up a serious notch for me.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose like inside of Ableton Live, just setting that up and then just having that kind of a template when you're ready, you just kind of drag and drop that group into your project, and you've got Loopcloud Drum there with all of the routing to their individual outputs. And I believe it's up to 16 outputs, so you can get 16 stereo outputs, so you can have pretty much everything on its own channel just ready to go right out of the gate, and then just flip through all those beautiful presets and start mixing and matching and making your own. So yeah, I mean, that's another big feature. I'm digging how easy it is to make stems now. Between the kit generator and being able to hold patterns and get a new drum kit, or hold mutes even if you're making top lines, and then get a bunch of different top lines and just keep exporting it right into Loopcloud, which automatically tags it for you. You don't even need to jump in and tag it. You can, of course, if you want, but just how quickly and seamlessly all of that's happening is just an absolute phenomenal thing for someone who likes to make a bunch of just stems on top of stems, just so I can go through and find what I'm looking for. Yeah. But you really don't even need to do that if you're actually using drum, because it does it on the fly anyway. But I like to hoard. I don't know about you, but I just love to hoard samples.
It's a nice way to work, yeah. And if you're quite new to the platform and you want to quickly build up a library, it's a good way of doing that.
Yeah. 100%. Well, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and just stop talking, Rob, because I know people come here to hear and see the plugins in action. So I'm just going to go ahead and let you do your demo for drum. When you're ready, just bring me back in. We'll talk about that incredible Black Friday deal, and then we'll show off play towards the end of the stream. Sound good?
Cool, man. Yeah, we'll see you and the dog in a bit.
Shh. All right, man.
Catch you soon. All right. So here's our project. I've just got drum loaded in at the moment. I'm just going to kind of go through a kind of workflow that shows off a lot of the new features. But instantly, like if you've been using drum before and you haven't seen the update, then as soon as it loads up here, you can just see how much better it looks. It's such an upgrade in terms of the GUI. Just being bigger to start with, it's got a much nicer interface to work with. The pads are nice and large. The randomizer's moved, and I'll show you where that's sort of gone to now. It's down in this area here and on the side. And the kit generation, when you want to start building a kit, is sort of in its own mode now, activated with this switch here. But yeah, this is what a default instance looks like when it loads up. It's just loaded the basic kit, which just has drums on these first 8 pads, and it's already got a pattern loaded. So if I hit the space bar, it plays that beat. So let's just kind of walk through some steps for how we might like to create a trap beat. So I'm going to set my project to 140 BPM, and then we're going to go into the browser, which is the first kind of main area that's been improved, or completely overhauled, should I say. And yeah, this is just a fantastic looking section. Now you can see from this area, this is the packs that I have. I've got quite a few packs. If you're new to Loopcloud Drum, you'll have a few things here. You'll have starter kits, which are what's appearing here. You'll also have the intro kits, and there's a legacy pack in here somewhere as well, the sort of welcome pack there. So when you click on a pack, you can see the kits arriving there on the right side now. Now we can of course search by genre, so I can type it in here, or I can click on it in the menu, just like in Loopcloud, and then it just narrows it down to the packs that are in that genre. And if you switch to the store now, it'll show you what packs are in the store if you want to check those out. The previewing of packs is exactly the same, where you can just click on a pack and then play it here, and so on. Going back to my packs though, so let's say I'll show you some cool new features in here. For starters, you've got the ability to play if your track's in record, which it is, and it's set to the right octave, which we're not. C1, here we go. So now I can check out the different drums in any of the kits. So when I click on a particular pack, and then a kit like this full one, say, you can check out any of the drums from this section here. And you can also check out patterns by either clicking on the keyboard, or, like I said, if you have a keyboard in front of you, triggering them with those MIDI notes there. So that's a pretty cool feature. One of the best things though here is all these locking controls, which allow you to try out all sorts of different things. So you could, for instance, keep the samples the same. Which one do I want to do first, actually? Let's say we'll keep the pattern locked, and we'll try out some different drums with our pattern. So we got this kit loaded at the moment. But let's say we like that pattern, but let's try out the drums from this pack. It's a really nice way there, being able to just lock the pattern and just try out sound, to just refresh the sounds each time, which is really awesome. What we might do actually though is just maybe mute some of these. Let's go back to our trap pack, and let's mute everything apart from the bass maybe. Actually, let's do all the melodic sounds for a minute, so we just focus on the drums at the bottom. So yeah, that's a really cool way there of locking the patterns, but we could change our minds and actually just lock the samples and try out different patterns. So you can just go the other way. And we can also lock the mute and solo, so it's not going to unmute all of those melodic sounds, and we're just going to focus on the drums now. So let's try out maybe something from the legacy pack. Nice. So yeah, so we've taken the original samples from the trap pack, and then we've gone into one of the other packs there, loaded up that particular preset, and it's kept the samples from that pack and just loaded in the pattern there, so it can try out a different pattern with the drums. So really, really awesome features there in the browser for, really quickly loading a particular kit and then trying out different patterns with it, or working the other way, and loading up a kit and then trying out different patterns whilst keeping the samples the same. So loads of different options there for loading up different kits and patterns. So let's now see what we want to do when it comes to kind of switching up the sound. So we got our pattern right. We're liking that, but maybe the sounds aren't quite right. So what we can do is click on the kit generator now, and you can see it goes into a different mode where these pads all kind of expand out. And now we have this generate up the top here. We'll come on to that in a moment. firstly, let's just check out the different pads here. So let's say, for instance, let's say we wanted just to switch up this sound here, this snare. Then we can come in now that we're in this mode and just click at the bottom. So all of the pads have their individual tags. So we can just come in here and we could maybe change it to sort of trap. And you see it's just like in Loopcloud once again. So now we can just search for a snare trap. Maybe it's a little bit long actually. Let's just bring down the decay a bit. So individual sounds can easily be just switched out. Like so, just with the arrows. So it's a really, really quick and easy way of working there. You can also switch out all of the samples here by clicking on the generate now. And you've got this really fun matrix that allows you to create different randomized kits in each of these slots. So if I hit generate, see what happens. Gives you all sorts of kind of random flavors there. Now I haven't locked the genre, I don't think. No, so it's at the moment it's just searching for kind of drum hits that this snare I've set to trap, but all the rest of them are just kind of open. So what I could do actually, I could remove the trap from there and I could set a genre here, which will define it for the whole kit. I'm going to open it up though and set it to sort of bass music if I want it to be a little bit kind of tougher. And I know I've got a lot of samples of that genre. So let's try that now. Pretty insane bass sample just loaded in there, but and now I can go back to any of these. I'll keep the bass out actually, just by clicking on the slots here. So much fun you can have with that. And you know, once you've got a few in there that you really like, and of course if I spend a little bit more time going through and actually switching out the individual samples to make all of the sounds in there ones that I want, then you can have a whole row on here, or you know, a whole decent amount here that you can click on to create really quick and fast variations in a break, for instance. So yeah, just amazing features in the kit generator. So, and of course, yeah, you can see here it actually locks the tuning as well. So if you are browsing for lots of melodic sounds with that turned on as it is as default, it keeps all the pitches the same, which is obviously something that previously when you're randomizing loads of melodic sounds is going to create a little bit more chaos if you don't have that turned on. So yeah, so that is everything I'm going to show, I think, in the kit generator. Let's close that. And now let's have a look at how to create a pattern variation, because at the moment then, you know, we've loaded up, we've created a kind of pattern that we like by browsing through different pattern presets. We've switched out sounds to different ones using the kit generator. So let's see how we could kind of modify the pattern area then to create a quick kind of fill, just so I can show you how this bottom section works. So at the moment it's playing, as we can see from the sequencer, A and then B. So this pattern A and pattern B. Quite simply, these are 1-bar patterns with each of the drums sequenced in certain ways using the step sequencer grid. I'm sure most of you are familiar with that. Again, it's something I show on my Beginner's Beats course, giving a guide to, you know, the kinds of common drum creation methods that you find across sort of all instruments and software. So yeah, these are 1-bar patterns. So all we need to do now is maybe take B here and maybe copy that over to C. And now that I've selected C and this is off, I can just listen to C, and then I can just click on some of these and maybe bring some of the drums in and out to create a slightly different kind of fill. It's kind of a really random snare there. I quite like it though. Let's maybe switch it out with something else. Let's keep it in. Why not? Let's just make it a little bit snappier again. Okay, that'll do. Nice little kind of fill there. And now to create a pattern that goes A, B, A, C, I just have to like extend this slider here and set that to A and set that to C. And now we've got, if I turn that on, a pattern that will be 1 bar of A, B, then A, then C. So we've got a 4-bar pattern in total here. Let's check it out. Yeah, let's switch that open out. Cool, so that's basically in a nutshell how the pattern section works. And now let's have a look at how you'd kind of take things to the next stage. Of course, now this totally depends on how you're working and kind of what level you're at in terms of production. That might be enough for you, and you've got your cool beats sorted, and now you can just move on to getting another instrument in there and messing around and creating some music that way. But if you wanted to kind of start to produce some beats in a different way now, then there's quite a few different things you could do. You could export those drums as a loop, in which case you just click on the audio button here in the export section, and you've now got a mix down, essentially a bounce of the master output of the plugin. So it's going to be a bounce of this whole pattern. So you can just drag that out now. Drag that out now onto an audio track, and there you have it. There you've got it, instant loop. And it's worth knowing that every time you do this, it will add it to your library, which you can find. Let's just switch over to Loopcloud for a minute. In Loopcloud Drum, you've got audio and MIDI exports, and it will just drop it into here. So you can see I've got quite a few created here. Here's the WAV. So as we were saying earlier on, it's just a really quick and easy way to build up a library of loops in Loopcloud without you having to sort of, be dragging samples in and starting to arrange them and stuff. All you have to do is click that audio export feature, or it's also an option when you save a kit, as we'll see in a moment, to then add those loops to your library, so that when you're using Loopcloud and you're searching for drum loops, they'll be coming up in there. Really, really cool feature. So that's one way to work there. You could have it on an audio track. Another way to go, you might want to sequence outside of this sequencer here, and the way that you can do that is by exporting the MIDI. You just click on MIDI and then drag it out here. If I can just drag correctly, there we go. And then you've got your MIDI there, which we could drag to let's drag it to the arrangement area instead. Which track are we supposed to be on? Is it that one? Yeah, so that's it's another way of working there. Let's just loop that now. Some people might find that to be an easier way of working than, you know, just sequencing the individual drums in the sequencer. Once you've done that, you can just turn it off, and then you're working with it within your DAW in the piano roll, as I'm sure you're all familiar with. Now, yeah, obviously, because we're just doing the drums, which is just these lower pads, you can also simplify the view a bit by just muting any that you're not using, and then you just focus on the drums. But as I was saying earlier, whilst I was speaking to Josh, my favorite feature is the ability to now root out these drums, which you can do in the mixer section. This area hasn't changed a whole lot. It's just got bigger and a bit nicer looking. But down the bottom here now, you can see this is where the magic happens, and this is the ability to select output routing for these channels. So we've got each one of the drums being able to have its own output with 16 different outputs available. So just for instance, we could take the kicks, just to show you a quick example, and route them out here. And then if I just create an audio track here in live quickly, actually switch back to the other view. Here we've got a new audio track here. All we have to do on that audio track is select Loopcloud drum and then select the output that we want. And then I'll rename this kick. And then, yeah, as long as it's monitoring the incoming audio, once we play our drums, now you can see it, our kick coming in. And of course you can do that with multiple drums, and away you go. Now I was going to show you a template that I've created, but I feel like it's going to sort of overcomplicate things. And also, if you want to see these sorts of things, well, you just need to join the Produce Tech community, where I get a lot more into the techier stuff, and show you how you create presets and template projects and all that kind of thing. Yeah, what I've recently created is a template for Loopcloud that has what I call a drum designer kit, which is 3 kicks on pads 1 to 3, a sub, a mid kick, and a tops, which have all been filtered in certain ways, so we're only looking at those frequencies, and then a snare and a clap on these 2 pads, and then a hat on the top one, and all of them are routed out to their own separate tracks and also grouped together, and it just gives you full control over all the drums, which is awesome. But then, of course, the ability to come in with the kit generator and very quickly randomize all the sounds. So in terms of sound design and actually building your own kit, even with layers of all the different frequencies you need, you can do this kind of thing with Loopcloud Drum really easily now, thanks to the randomizer and the ability to route out the sounds. Plus, obviously, if you're doing it with live racks, you can also assign the different parameters in Loopcloud Drum to macros on the rack. So you can do things like tune your different bass frequencies so all the samples slot together nicely and stuff. Yeah, I'm not going to do that now because it feels like it's branching out a bit too far, and we're going to move on to play shortly. So I think that's everything I was going to show. I didn't mention the kit saving, actually. Let's just show you that quickly. When I click save now, I can just save this as my trap kit 2. I think I did 1 earlier. And then you have the ability to set it as a starter kit, so it appears a bit like a template project in a DAW. You can also change the theme. You can set it to be one of these. You can include samples with the kit, which keeps things all nicely together, and you can include the mix down if you want to include that with the kit as well. So all of the drum loops from that kit would be included within Loopcloud as well. And you just save it, and then it appears in your library under my kits, saved kits, trap kit. There it is. I took a second to refresh there. Yeah, so I think that's all we'll show from Loopcloud Drum then. So let's bring Josh and the dog back. Hey man.
Am I back?
You are back. Where's the dog?
Just
put it to sleep.
Don't,
Just stop.
Don't
Okay.
whistle.
Shh.
Yeah, everybody be quiet. No, as per usual, Rob, another fantastic demo. I was
Thanks, man.
listening when you were flipping through just some random. You were just doing the generate, hitting that generate button, and I mean, there were a few. I mean, it's just a few of them were just like, yeah. Let's take that and run with that. But the cool thing about that generate button is it'll actually save that, right? So you could just hit it, 20 times and just remember and just flip back through them. They load almost instantly, and it's all just there for you to take and run with if you're looking to do so.
Yep.
And obviously, you with the ability to export the full drum kit and individual drum slots, so you can reload those later, the MIDI, or just go ahead and export stems or the full mix or whatever you want to do. You can always save it now, come back to it later, and just get ideas that could go. Do you just put in a simple pattern, and if it just loads up the right sequence or the right group of drums and sometimes melodics or vocal chops or bass notes, it just comes out so effortlessly from drum, and you can just take it and run with it. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Yep.
And I think you showcased that really well, along with a lot of the other new features in there.
Oh, there's one thing I didn't show. That's the only thing that I would have shown if I'd have shown the template thing. Was the pattern randomization, which is also a very cool feature and incredibly useful if you want to come up with a fast, interesting trilly hat pattern, for instance, with a drum. And you can also do it in hybrid fashion if you're sequencing the drum using MIDI clips like I was. You can then turn the sequencer back on and just sequence one sound using the randomizer and mix those two together.
Yeah. I mean, I almost always reach for that when it's on the hats.
Yeah.
Just because I find, I'm quite boring, and I'll just do every half step or something.
Yeah,
or an offbeat.
Yeah.
But then it's got the intelligent randomization there, so use it. I use it all the time on hats for sure. I do want to let you jump right into Play because I'm interested to see where you go with that. Play obviously is a sampler, rompler instrument with so many just wonderful, wonderful sounds inside of it. We call them presets, but really the preset is a whole new instrument, multi-sampled with love. You've got the whole advanced page where you can jump in and manipulate to your heart's content, built-in effects, and so on. But before you do that, I just want to let everybody know about the Black Friday deal because it's a phenomenal, phenomenal deal, and now is the time, obviously, to sign up for Loopcloud if you're not already. The big deal is for an annual subscription. If you sign up for Black Friday to take this deal, you get 2 months free. You get bonus points in terms of your Loopcloud points. That's the points you use inside of the Loopcloud store. You can also use those points inside of Drum and Play to get some of the add-on packs that are available there. And there is a ton of extra content for all different genres. And no matter what you're doing, there is something in there for you. But I mean, you get 2,000 points for the artist plan, 5,000 for the studio plan, and 10,000 for the pro plan. So plenty of points to go around. And just remember, if you get those points and you download that content, that is your content for life, even if after the year you decide, maybe even that definitely won't happen. But just know that that content stays with you no matter what you do. You also get a free sound pack, exclusive sound pack. If you sign up with this deal, you get chords from Loopmasters, which is another phenomenal instrument that you and I have actually covered a number of times on stream and in videos. Do you have a course on that on Producer Tech?
Not a course on it, no. It's been featured in tutorials here and there, maybe live streams, but no dedicated courses yet.
But it is a phenomenal instrument. It's another one of those ones that just sounds good out of the box. It's minimal effort to try to get it to sound good because it already sounds great. So, but obviously you have your tweakable parameters to customize to whatever you're looking to do. But that comes free, and also you get a bunch of drum packs on top of the already. I think it's I don't have the exact numbers here, but you get a lot of drum kits just when you get drum out of the gate, and then you get an extra 3 more exclusive ones if you take the Black Friday deal, and 2 months all access to Producer Tech, which you're telling me is actually 2.5 months because you get like an intro on top of that. So now is the time. I mean, if you're going to do it, pull the trigger now because it is a phenomenal deal. Loopcloud, Drum, and Play, and chords, really, and producer tech. Like, what are we even talking about at this point, Rob? It just seems like a no-brainer to me.
It's a huge deal. Yeah.
What can you just let us know some of the highlight courses you have on producer tech?
Yeah. Well, like I said, the beginners beats is just coming out. That's a really good one for complete beginners. I'm just also bringing out, both of these are coming out this week. Music mixing fundamentals.
Nice.
Which has turned into a bigger course than I was expecting. It's kind of a 5-hour, quite detailed walk through all of the main stages of mixing. So if you're someone who is a complete beginner, it'll definitely help you, but it will definitely move on, quite rapidly to more intermediate to advanced territory. But if you've been producing for a little bit and you want to improve your mixes, it's just perfect. It's going to be the perfect course for you. That's going to be a nice one. We've got a really cool one on sample manipulation, which just came out from Seppa, one of the great bass music producers on our site, talking about how to take samples from Loopcloud and kind of manipulate them and mangle them and distort them in cool ways to build up your own personal library. So that's a really cool one as well. We've also got one from Simon Shackleton, came out recently. He's one of the best producers. For like 20 years he's been doing amazing remixes and all sorts of great work and sound design on film and all sorts. And yeah, his course on essential beats production goes into real detail about how to make incredible professional sounding beats. So it's a very good course as well. Part 1 just came out a month or so back, and part 2 will be out at the end of the year.
Nice. So, yeah. And how many courses do you have total now?
We haven't actually counted recently, but a few hundred. A few hundred. I don't even know how many hours, but 500 plus. I don't know. Yeah.
More than enough for 2.5
yeah.
2.5 months of absolute cramming to get all the musical knowledge you can.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. So, I mean, like I said, I'm kind of being hands off today. I want to just let you show people and let them hear rather than me talk about these wonderful instruments. Can you just give me a brief summary about what we're about to check out with Play?
Yes. So, I mean, Play hasn't got as many new features as Drum. Drum has really seen a ton of new features. With Play, the most of the features, as far as I'm aware, are more centered around the browser. So that's what we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at some of the cool ways that you can find the sort of sound you like more easily by using parameter locking and effects locking. And that sort of thing. And you have a new grid in the browser now, which is a really awesome way of seeing all the patches you have, and of course once again searching by instrument type and various other things as well. So
genre, instrument type, and I think it's a better browser in this newest update, but really it's all about the content. So Play, like we just said, it's a simple instrument in that it sounds great out of the box, and you don't need to do a lot to get a great sound. It's not like you get 2 sine waves and you have to figure out where to go from there. You get incredible sounds, and I believe it comes with 300 instruments or presets. We call them. It's an interchangeable thing, but that's a huge amount. And on top of that, like we were saying before with Drum, there's content that you can get with your Loopcloud points, and I believe there's over 700 additional presets that are available. So, I mean, yeah, it's really all about the content. So I'm excited to let you jump in and show, or let people hear that wonderful content we've been talking about.
Cool, man. All right. I'll catch you in a bit.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so back to our project then. I just did a couple of things while Josh was talking there. I just created an extra drum section here, but I've just taken the kicks out. So we're going from a bit with the sort of bass and the full drums to a bit that doesn't have the kick or the bass in. So we got a sort of breakdown-ish kind of section here. Saying that, actually, I wonder if we just want to create one on each beat here. Maybe we want to unmute that but drag it to a different drum. Let's see what we got. It's all right. All right, let's keep that. Let's just bring the velocity down maybe a bit. Okay, yeah, so we got like breakdown section there now, and I'm just gonna create a MIDI track here and add Loopcloud Play to the project. And yeah, once again, a nice improved GUI. It's got that bit bigger, that little bit more spacious. Doesn't look a whole lot different to, you know, this section if you're familiar with the previous version, but once I click on the browser, once again, really nice addition of the keyboard here, the ability to see the different macro controls, which are the sort of 4 main controls you've got for each patch. So what I was thinking for this sort of breakdowny bit, we might like to check out some keys. And much like in drum, when you click on any of these, you get the different presets that are in the different packs here, and as you can see, you get a ton of different sounds. But the thing that's awesome about this now is this grid view, which shows you all the different presets here, and you can see the ones I've downloaded, by the way. If they're showing a cloud, then I haven't downloaded them yet. And once again, in this section, you can, you know, simplify things. So I could, for instance, check out chords. I was thinking of a sort of chord type sound here. So let's just check out some of these. Is that loud enough? I feel like that's a little bit quiet. That seems louder. And in the right octave range, there you go. So yeah, so we got these different kind of chord patches here. And these are hand-picked kind of sampled sounds here that are, or multi-sampled, a lot of them, and they create really, really awesome, cool sounding instruments that are just great out of the box, like Josh was saying. So yeah, so really, really nice browser here. But let's look at a couple of things that we might like to do to this patch. And a lot of the controls you've got here in the advanced section are things that you find regularly on other synths. So you've got you know, the filter envelope, I'm sure most of you are familiar with. Good one for creating, if I turn out the envelope amount, these sorts of sounds. Amplitude envelope as well, you know, and then an LFO on the filter. So these are very common synth sounds, sections, sorry, and controls. At the top here, you have ones that are perhaps a little less common, and these are all the different sampler options. And you've got some really cool stuff in here, and this is all based on the kind of controls that you'd find in sort of vintage samplers, in old hardware samplers, with things like the pitch LFO and the stretch and lo-fi and stuff like that. So let's just see what we can do to the sound, for instance. By just turning up the amount there, you've got a bit of pitch LFO, and this can create like tape effects, things like wow and flutter. I could slow it down or speed it right up. So if you want to get a bit wonky, you know, it's really easy to do there. You've also got this stretch here, which allows you to get a little bit glitchy and kind of time stretchy. Getting quite strange down at the bottom there. Does some very cool things to things like vocals and all that sort of thing. And you've got a really handy formant thing here. For shaping, you know, the whole timbre of the sound, moving the formant up and down there. I find bringing down the formants is a really nice thing to do when you use the lo-fi section, because the lo-fi section is the kind of bit crusher signal degrader, and you know, you can hear adds a lot of those aliasy high frequencies up there. So bringing down the formant creates a really nice sound there. Also, you've got the sample start at the beginning I didn't mention, but you can if it's a long sample, obviously that gives you a ton of different sort of stuff to play with. So loads of different options for the sample there. You also got tilt on the end, which is a kind of tonal thing, allows you to cut or boost certain frequencies. So for example, I could find something around the 3K region and then cut it out if I wanted to duck off the kind of harshness of the sound. Yeah, so once you've got all these settings in place and you've created the kind of sound you're after, if I went back now to the preset section and I lock those parameters, it means I can now load up a different sound. And it keeps all those settings on there. So it's a really awesome ability there to sort of shape the sound, mess around with the samples, and then lock them and load up a different patch entirely, but to keep the sort of overarching kind of character and sound manipulation that I've done the same as I'm browsing. So let's just keep this one for now and just record in something here then. All right. Nice, so we got a nice little kind of break there. Let's just quantize that. Nice, and I'm going to freeze it so I can open multiple instances because I'm live streaming and I just feel a little bit more comfortable with that. So now we've got that one there. Let's get a new MIDI track here. Let's load up another instance of Loopcloud Play. And I'll just show you another example of the same sort of thing. So now let's say we wanted to add another melodic sound into the mix, but we wanted to maybe mess around with the amplitude envelope, maybe get some more effects in there. I'll show you a few things you can do on that side. So I do like a pluck sound. People who know me from Producer Tech will know that I like to mess around with a pluck every now and then. And let's see what we got again on the grid display. So there's not too many sounds there. And a pluck sound is simply a short sound that has a rapid transient. So it's a very kind of short and bright sound, which we can set up quite easily here using these controls. So I'm going to just get rid of that tag for a minute so we can see all of the presets here. And I'm just going to bring down the sustain and bring the decay down and bring the release down almost all the way as well. So we got a really short sound now, just a little kind of blip there. And again, if we lock the parameters, it'll mean that I can keep these amplitude envelope settings, but load up literally any patch. So I could kind of look for some of these synth patches down here. And it just keeps the sound duration there, so it's always going to be a short and snappy sound. And I don't just need to click on the synths, I could be clicking on the vocals, or I could be clicking on the flutes, or whatever else we've got here. We've got all sorts of stuff. Guitars might be good. Some of them are a bit quiet if they've got a quiet sort of bit at the start of the sample, so I could go into the settings and change the sample start time to get rid of that. Let's check out some of these flutes maybe. One's quite nice. But now let's have a look at maybe, so I don't really need this amplitude envelope control here. So what I could do is go into the synth. I could turn on the reverb and turn up the amount of the reverb here. And then I could assign this amount to the macro that I'm not using. So the attack one here. So just click on that and then set it to reverb amount. And now, now we've got the ability to control the reverb from our macros here. So if we lock the effects as well now, then it will keep the reverb turned on as I'm browsing. So now we've got quite a hilarious sound with those amplitude envelope settings and also some reverb applied. no matter what kind of patches we're loading here. Let's go back to these synths because I know they're fairly loud. So let's check out I quite like that flute one though. Where was it? Might have lost it again now. There it is, Dizzy Flute. I like that one. Let's get a load of reverb on there. Seems quite quiet. Yeah, something like that. Something kind of like that. I'm thinking a slow and reverby sort of vibe to it. Let's just quantize that as well. Probably something a bit more syncopated that juxtaposed with that a little bit better might be nice. But yeah, really nice way of being able to really quickly create some melodic sounds there. I'll freeze that and just do one more quickly. And this time we will make it a bass, just very quickly add some sub bass underneath our kind of main chords we've got going on there, and then our breakdown's basically done. So yeah, just go in, check out the instruments this time and just go with sub. And then on the grid here we can see some of the different subs we've got here. Let's go with the heavy sub bass, and then just copy it down. And I think it's playing in the wrong octave, so let's just get that down an octave. Would have been great if the bass was in the right key. Anyway, yeah, there we go. We created a very kind of simple breakdown and drop pretty quickly. So there's Loopcloud Drum and Play. I'm going to bring Josh back in. There you go. Hey, man.
How are you?
Great.
Feeling good?
Feeling excellent. Yourself?
Yeah. Listen, Rob, I tell you every time you do it because it's true every time. You're doing a phenomenal job with these demos, man.
Thanks.
I even saw some people in the chat being like, yo, Rob always comes correct with the demos on the live streams.
Thanks,
and that's
everyone.
why you've got an entire school of music production. So definitely check out Producer Tech if you haven't already. I highly recommend it. Rob, just before we wrap up, I got a couple of things maybe you could just show real quickly if you don't mind. Maybe show people the Drum and Play stores. So like just show them how you would jump in and maybe purchase something, how quick and easy that is. Okay. Also, if you could show people where the exports, the audio exports go inside of Loopcloud. So like open up the Loopcloud app and actually show the folder.
I think I showed that, but I could show it. I'll show it again. I also showed the store. It's just accessible via the button right there.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
And another thing is, if you have like a folder of samples that isn't already in Loopcloud, if you could bring it in and just show people the AI tagging it. Someone was asking about importing your own samples, and that's just something that Loopcloud is absolutely phenomenal at. And that is, you can bring in your own samples, and if it's a kick, it will identify it as a kick. If it's a melodic sample, it will identify the key for you. It will tag the key. If it's a piano, it will put a piano tag on there. It does it all automatically for you. And then, and I know this is a big ask, man. I'm just like, there's like 12 things. But if you could actually show people how to manipulate maybe a tag, just so like you can get in and like, say, you could even add a tag that says Rob's live stream samples if you wanted to, whatever you wanted to do. Just show people that real quick, just because people were asking, man. Thanks.
Okay. Okay, well, I've got to think about how I do that. the importing of samples. I mean, I could do it very quickly by creating some sounds from Ableton, maybe. I don't have a sort of samples folder that's handy that I can just kind of drag in. Anyway, let's start with the store.
Maybe you don't have to. I've kind of explained what's going to happen. If I don't want you to, sit down and make a sample pack and then do it. But just for people, whoever is asking that, yes, you could bring in your own samples. You absolutely should. And Loopcloud's AI will go ahead and analyze everything you bring in. We'll tag one shots as one shots, loops as loops. And if it's an instrument, tag it as an instrument. Find the key, find the BPM, and tag all of that for you. And then you have access to manipulate those tags, add further tags, change tags, remove tags, do whatever you want. You have full access over it. But most of the heavy lifting will be done automatically and precisely by the Loopcloud AI. I just wanted to answer that question that came up.
Yeah, cool. I'm just checking out what is in this sampling folder that I've got here. Oh, go away. Is that going to open it up there? Yeah, there's no easy way to do that. Unfortunately, it means like pushing you off the stream and then searching around for stuff on my desktop. So I'm not gonna do that right now. I would love to do that, but it's an incredibly easy process though. Of literally just, if you have the folder ready, literally just dragging and dropping. So I can show where it would appear and then how you can change it. I can show the machine library, because my machine library. Native Instruments Machine, that is one of the libraries that I brought into Loopcloud. You know, it's important to know that you can do that, because obviously people have different libraries from different places and they have different software instruments and samplers, but you can bring everything into Loopcloud so you can manage everything from there, and it doesn't duplicate the files over to a different location. It just reads them and tags them up and allows you to organize and find them more easily, and also sequence them and create loops with them and stuff like that. So
one of the key things there is, like, we'll take the machine library for an example, is you import that. There might be a tag that Loopcloud recognizes that says machine, but if it doesn't, you just select the entire folder and add that tag manually, and then you can search for your machine samples right inside of Loopcloud. Yeah. You know, it might do it with machine, but some of you are less. If you have like a sample CD from back in the day and you want to add your own title to it, you can do it very, very easily. It tags everything at once. You don't need to select individual things. It's phenomenal by way of that. So I don't know if whatever you can show. Yeah. I'll show it. Yeah, perfect.
Shall I keep you in the corner there so you can stay with me? Stay with me, Josh.
The more camera time I get, the better. The better I feel about myself. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll keep you up there. Totally going to remove him. No, I'll keep him up there. So we've got what were the things, by the way? Just like the store's here. Obviously, that's literally just accessible in the browser by clicking on store, and there you have it. And it's just browse through sounds, listen to them, like I showed when we were looking at drum. Exactly the same with play.
Are you on play right now or drum? I can't see. Okay.
Oh, I'm in play.
Okay, yeah, so it's the same way with drum. There's just a store button, and that's where you can find everything that's online right inside of the VST itself. Or you can find all of that content in the Loopcloud store inside of the Loopcloud app. Obviously, if you're looking for the right sound, you're probably going to be doing it right through the VST, so it's right there for you. The other thing that we wanted to just showcase was when you exported those stems and that audio from drum, just show where that goes and how, and that will have been tagged automatically, so you can just show off that tagging feature there as well.
Cool, yeah. I did it also sort of briefly show that, so it's already sort of loaded up here. When you export, so where was my kit? I saved the kit into, well, let's just back it up a little bit. Here's the Loopcloud drum folder in my library. And Loopcloud Play as well. And inside the Loopcloud Drum folder, you have Audio MIDI Export, and that's where all of the exports live. So every time you export a loop, you can see it just exports it out. You've got the WAV here, and this will show up. It's a drum loop. It's already going to be tagged up there. So every time you search for a drum loop in a particular tempo as well, it will find it. It will find it in that search. So that's where that lives. And
maybe to show how to add and manipulate tags for, it could be for anything, maybe the machine library that you were talking about, or really anything.
Yeah, I'll just show quickly the trap kit, because this is which one? This is the one I just created here in the live stream, and you can see it's got all the samples in there as well, which is really nice. So yeah, it keeps things contained,
organized
folder.
Which is awesome. It keeps it organized, and it keeps it searchable, filterable, and browsable all at the same time. It does everything for you, and then you can always come back to it.
Yeah. So where are my machine samples? Are they? By the way, it's sometimes when people look at my library here, they think, oh, you've got like a gazillion samples. But if you've been using Loopcloud for a while, then every time you pick up one sample, you get the sort of folder that the sample lives in. So pretty much all these just have a single sample in, which is why I got...
Right, it's not all full packs.
No. Machine 2, they're right there. It was staring me in the face. So all I did to add these to the library is just took the folder from my computer and just drop it into this area. You just literally dump it in anywhere here. Or you click on add samples and browse to it. You can do it either way. And it just analyzes it, and it doesn't take long at all. It just kind of scans through everything. It finds one-shots. It finds loops. It analyzes things by sample name, but also the AI is smart and works out what a lot of the instruments are as well. It's really good on, like, random percussion and synth sounds and leads and all sorts. But if you need to kind of reorganize things a bit yourself, then you can do that really easily in the editor section, which is this section here. Now it's actually changed a little bit. Let me just get rid of the player. Oh, I haven't actually used this since a little update. So it's got a few different things here. But if you if you have all your claps here, for example, and I select a bunch here, then you can easily just change or add tags from this section. So you can add different instruments there. You can add additional tags, whatever. Let's just say, there were a particular type of clap. Let's say it was sort of FX. I could add the kind of FX tag in there as well. You can see it appearing on all the samples. So it does it for a single one if you have a single one selected. It does it for a whole folder if you have that selected. And it could be everything within this entire machine folder. So all folders, all samples and everything if you have that folder selected. And yeah, you can see here if I scroll along, I've created my own tag called machine 2 and I've added it to that. So now when I search for samples in here, I can search for machine 2 just by adding the tag to the search there. Or more importantly, well, not more importantly, but perhaps even more usefully, you can now exclude samples from a particular location, or so if I want to search for things in the store, when things are coming up in the results, you can actually right click on it and choose exclude that, and then it will not search for things in there, which is actually really cool as well. So there's two very cool features there. Was that everything?
That covers it. Yeah, I believe
cool.
so.
Okay.
Nailed it.
Nice
Home run. Hit it out of the park. Well done. Thanks, Rob. I mean, that's pretty much it. We're about to wrap up. That was precisely on the hour. That's one of our shorter live streams today.
It's because we were aiming at 40 minutes.
I think we should just keep chatting for another 30, just so we get into where we should be, or where we usually are anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, let's wrap it up. Thanks again for popping by and talking about drum and play and showing it off in a wonderful light. And of course, everybody who is watching, definitely check out the Black Friday deal. Now is the time to hop onto the Loopcloud community, or hop into it, or be a part of it, and just use Loopcloud. And when you subscribe, you get drum and play on top of Loopcloud itself. So you get so much on top of everything else that I already talked about in the middle of the video. I'm sure there will be links to everything, both in the chat while we've been doing this and right now, and then after the video, it will be archived if you want to come back and check out Rob's demos again. And in the video description, links to everything as usual. But with that being said, Rob, if you've got anything else to say, now's the time, because I'm gonna end the stream.
Just once again, just take advantage of the Black Friday offer. Come in to Produce Tech, the community. The water's warm. We have a new community site now with where you can come in and actually create your own profile and get your tracks up on the site and get people listening to it, feeding back on it. Yeah, it's very cool. We're doing a remix comp every few months. The last one was with Arturia, with really awesome software and hardware prizes, and Ellie Dixon, who's one of our tutors, but also an amazing alt pop artist. And yeah, the music from her course, in fact. Yeah, so if you hear at the start of the stream and you heard the music, then that was actually by, I have to give them credit, a Produce Tech member called Alv Martin, who came second in the remix comp. because I didn't have the WAV of the winner, so so I used his or theirs, and yeah,
Well, that's
really
amazing.
cool, really cool. It was amazing to have the remix comp hosted within the community site. That was the first time we've done that, because the site only recently launched, and it's just so much cooler to have it in there. So you've got a real kind of community going where people are monitoring things as they go and seeing the tracks come into the forum and listening to them and commenting on them, and just made the whole thing really great.
No, that sounds amazing, and people will get access to that with the all access pass, so that they get
Exactly, and that
Right.
also gives you access to the live streams and the weekly bonus content we do just for our members.
Oh, that's insane. So yes, again, get to clicking on the links, everybody. We're gonna go ahead and wrap up this stream. I'm sure we'll be back very shortly because there's nothing but good content coming all the time. I'm Joshua Casper. That's Rob Jones, and we will see you in the next stream.
Catch you later.